friends, we are going to be doing something a little bit different today. As you can see, we've got a top-down video. Please ignore the fact that I don't have my nails done, but I wanted to show you my journal lineup for 2025. But before we get into that, I wanted to show you what I've been doing for the past year before we get into my new journals. So I've got my two journals here that I use for 2024, and I started with this green bullet journal, and then I moved into this traveler size notebook from Archer and Olive. So we'll take a look at my bullet journal A5 first. And as you can see, this one was pretty well loved. She's pretty stretched from the original binding, but she held up fine. So I used one of these in 2023, and that was my first year bullet journaling. That's when I really discovered bullet journaling, and I had a nice light pink one then. Maybe at some point I will give you a flip through of my old journal, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of my 2024 stuff before we got into 2025. Oh yeah, nice and crispy. So just a little name page here. And I had to do some gluing down of pages. Now I've got a journal guides pocket here. Never made my journal grid spacing guide, so that's something that I really want. I think it would be very helpful to me, and I still haven't made one for 2025 either, so I should put that on my to-do list. So in 2024, I really wanted to do a hand-drawn image. I did this really cute dragon. I won't take full credit for this design. I did look up cute dragon inspiration on Pinterest, and I found something really similar, and then I drew this guy. So I didn't trace him, but I did find inspiration from someone else's art. So then we have my year at a glance, and this was really fun, but as you can see, it did start to tear the binding pretty badly. I did more of our cute little dragons, and I did a nice little flip style here with some kind of Dutch doors, and then a cute little sleeping dragon. Now, inevitably, there are always pages that I set up at the beginning of the year that I don't end up using, so this is just an example of that. My word of the year last year was investment, and then I gave my personal definition of that, and then I would have written my goals here, but I did a little bit more goal setting on a month-by-month basis as opposed to year-long goals. So here is my January setup. I had a journaling kit that I had gotten from Archer and Olive. I used to be a part of their monthly kit club subscription. So some of this is from that. They sent some nice bullet journal paper in different colors. And then they also had provided some of this cute printed paper, which I use. And then you'll also see a lot of printables in here. These are from Ikigai Paper or Mochi Bujo Heda's Patreon. So I am a subscribe member for her Patreon, and every month you get sent a set of stickers. So I'm part of her Twin Charles tier. That means I get 2 sets of the stickers that she's sending out, and then I also get access to printables. So you'll see a lot of those in here. We'll just kind of quickly flip through the weeklies. So then we have February. Again, these are going to be printables from Mochi Bujo. And I actually made this calendar on Canva, which I thought was really fun. So sleep has been really important to me, and I've been tracking that every month, as well as my general habits. And then we've got March, and I think this one is so cute. This was one of those stickers that I specifically received in my Patreon mail. And then these stickers are actually from a sticky set, so these cute little mushroom and frog guys. I really liked this little paper design that I was doing on these. Then we have April, so again, you're gonna see some more printables here. And then that brings us to May. So this one was kind of a hodgepodge of just some old stickers that I had and some pet tape, but I honestly really love how this color palette came together. And then this is by far my favorite month that I set up, so I took more of a junk journaling approach to this one. And then I moved into July, so I really loved my June spreads, and I had a hard time deciding what I wanted to do with July, but I took it kind of simple. This pet tape and the washi tape that matches in this spread, I believe they're from the washi tape shop, but I might be incorrect about that. I didn't do weeklies for this week, so I just went ahead and wrote a recap for those days, and then I went ahead and set up my weeklies. And I believe August is the last month we'll have in the journal. The journal was starting to struggle a little bit at this point, so I didn't want to risk breaking it. And again, this one was kind of just a hodgepodge of some washi tape stickers that I had and some older flower stickers. And that is everything for this journal. So let's switch into the second journal that I used, which was this traveler's notebook from Archer and Olive. And this was the first time that I've actually used an Archer and Olive notebook. I have several because I was getting their subscription, but this was the first time that I've actually used one, so I was really excited to do that. So I set up a new Start of Journal cover page, and again, these are pictures that are going to be from Ikigai paper. And I did a little year overview. I just called it months ahead for the 4 months that would be in this journal. And then for September, I had some items from Sticky. So I've got my workout tracker, and this was my first time using a traveler size notebook too, so that was a new challenge for me. As you can see, I did not do well tracking. In September, I only filled out my first 2 sleep sessions, and I missed a ton of my habits. I ended up being really happy with this setup overall. These are also from Ikigai paper. I really love her art style, so it makes it very easy for me to set up my bullet journals when I use her stuff. And I also had some washi tapes from her shop that I used here. And then we move into November, so I really wanted these spreads to have a fall cozy vibe, and I feel like they achieved that. I've got some new stickers here, so these are going to be from Marigona Suli Art, and I really love her designs and her stickers. And then the last month we have in this journal is December. So I wasn't super overjoyed with this setup. I felt like it had a little bit too much going on, but I did really love these Marigona Suli stickers that I was using. So that brings us to the end of the finished spreads in here, but I am planning to do a little bit of memory keeping in here. So I'm going to go back and fill out these 2024 wrapped spreads when I have a chance. I've already done some penciling in, but I'm going to go back and put pictures in as well as just some general reflection. So let's get into my 2025 journals. Now this is a big old B5 notebook. I can't even fit the whole thing in frame. This one is from Archer and Olive, and the funny thing about this journal is that I, for some reason, was convinced that I was gonna set up a reading journal in 2024 and retroactively fill in all the books that I had read. And so I actually started to set this up, I believe, in September of 2024. So right under here where it says 2025, it actually said 2024, and I just had to go in and stamp and glue over that because I didn't actually fill it in, but I did set up most of my start of journal spreads. Now I have gone back and added a lot to this as well, but some of it was already set up for me, which has had both pros and cons. So let's take a flip through these spreads. So I started by setting up an index, and you can already see I've got my first 2 books read this year listed in here. Unfortunately, I had wanted to track word count for all of my books because I listen to audiobooks and I use a couple different formats, so I thought regardless of the format, the word count should be the same, but unfortunately that is apparently not a very easy metric to track, so I did have to go in and patch and put page count over top of that instead of word count. Now, unfortunately, this only goes to 108 books. I did read 120 books in 2024, so I foresee that I might outgrow this, but I might try to do a tip-in here so that I can add a page, because that would give me a few more lines to work with. So I might do that if I need to. I did set my goal at 150, so I have a feeling I might need to, but that's going to be my solution if this isn't enough space. So here's my reading goal. Originally, my reading goal for 2024 was 100 books. So when I set this up, I just did it with 104 boxes on this particular page. But since finishing 120 books in 2024, I did go back and add more boxes to my reading goals. And down here, I had a little bit of dead space after I filled in 150 boxes. So I went ahead and set a color key and my books read space for each month. So each month, when the month is over, I can write in the number of books that I've read. And I actually see I have finished 2 books, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill in number 2 up here. And I'm just using a calligraph from Archer and Olive. I really love these, and they're really, really nice for making highlights every other line. I'll show you some examples of that, either in this journal or in my bullet journal. So then I wanted to set up several book club spreads. Now, I am in a few different book clubs, and I don't necessarily hold myself to reading every book that every one of my book clubs reads every single month, but some of them are online, some of them are in person, some of them challenge me to read books that I wouldn't normally pick up, so I do really like participating in them as much as I can because I enjoy discourse with other people about books. So over here on the left, we've got PewDiePie's book club. I have been a long-time watcher of PewDiePie's channel, and this year he announced that he was going to do a book review, which is kind of like a book club for his viewers. So these are all books that he's previously read, and one thing that I really like about this setup is that he told us in advance the 12 books that he intended to get to this year. So I have actually already read Tao Te Ching, and I'm gonna fill that in. So moving on, I'm also in a local book club, and unfortunately, I tend to be really busy and I seem to be traveling quite a lot in the last 6 months and in the next 6 months for work, so I haven't been able to attend a ton of these meetings, and I already know I can't attend the January meeting, so the book for January is What the River Knows. I am still gonna try to read this so I can at least chat with the girls in the group about the book, but unfortunately I know I can't make that meeting. So as I mentioned, several book clubs. So here on the left we have the Bujo Buddies book club, which is Jashi Koren. Her name is Jess. She is a bullet journaler who posts regularly on YouTube, and I've taken a lot of inspiration from her in setting up a lot of my bullet journals, so I am also in her Discord and book club, and that's completely free to join. So if you enjoy her content and you watch her, you can also join that book club. It's ran by her and 2 other friends of hers, and each month we vote on books and then we have a discussion about them. Next we have Crow Club, and Crow Club is a club that I'm in on Fable. This one was actually started by a girl that I came across on TikTok and a friend of hers. I'm not sure which one of the 2 originated the book club, but the one I interacted with was Sloan on TikTok, and then I found her Fable book club through her page. So the book we're reading for January is Sword of Kaigen, and I am so excited. This is definitely one of my 25 non-negotiables for 2025, which I'm planning planning to make a video about, so I'm really excited to get that read the first month of the year. And then this spread, I did a Dutch door, which I wish I had done for all of my book clubs, but that's okay. So I've got Ellen Catherine's book club here. Ellen Catherine is another booktuber that I watch, and I am a member of her Patreon. You get a lot of extra content that way, and you get to connect with all the really lovely people that are in her audience that participate in her Patreon. So I really enjoyed being in that group and just talking about all the things that a lot of us in that group resonate with and love and enjoy. So that's been a lot of fun. I haven't been able to really participate in the book club much for 2024, so I'm really excited to participate for 2025, and our first book in that book club is Spark of the Everflame for this year. And then lastly, I've already mentioned that I am in Mochi Bujo's Patreon, which means I get access to that Discord as well, and there is an optional book club in that Discord. I've been participating in this one for a while and have read several of the books that we chose together as a group for 2024. So our first book for 2025 is The Atlas Six. And I actually already read this. This was the first audiobook that I ever listened to, and I really, really enjoyed it because it has different narrators for the different characters in the book. But I recently got a physical copy because I had a physical copy of the second one, and it's been a while since I listened to the first one. So I think I'm gonna try to pick this up this month and read the second book as well, because that will get that off of my physical TBR. Next, we've got my series tracker, and this was honestly so helpful to me because I had no idea how many series I was in the middle of, and this honestly probably isn't all encompassing. I'm sure there's one or two that I have completely forgot that I am also in the middle of reading. So the first one I've got on here is The Cosmere, and I've read the first Mistborn trilogy and 2 novellas in Arcanum Unbounded. And the next book I need to read for that is Elantris. I've also got Red Rising. I read the first book last year, as well as the series that contains the Atlas Six. I've only read the first one there. Tomes and Tea, the first book of that is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, and that was one of the last books that I read in 2024. Then I've got the Maple Hill series, so this is Icebreaker and Wildfire, and I did enjoy Wildfire a lot more than Icebreaker, so I'm pretty excited for Daydream. And then I've got Realmbreaker, which is Victoria Aveyard. Hopefully I am pronouncing her last name right, but I read all of the Red Queen series a while back, and then I picked up Realmbreaker, and I just need to finish that third book. And onto the next page, we've got the Murderbot Diaries, which are a series of novellas by Martha Wells that are on Kindle Unlimited. Those are really fun. They're sci-fi. I've also got Wayfarers, which is a Becky Chambers sci-fi series. The first book in that series is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and these are kind of interconnected standalones, so I'm looking forward to continue those. I did put A Song of Ice and Fire on here, so this is the series that Game of Thrones comes from. Now, the first book in the series, I have been reading kind of in between other books anytime I need a break for quite a while now, so I'm really taking my time getting through it, but I am really enjoying it, and I definitely want to make some progress on that series this year. Then we have the Poppy War trilogy, and I'm actually a little over halfway through the audiobook for the third book, which is The Burning God, so I'm really looking forward to finishing that. I've been enjoying that a lot. I've also got The Empyrean, so this is Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm is coming out this month, and I think Onyx Storm is going to be the deciding factor on whether I continue reading The Empyrean and Rebecca Yaros's novels, because she's kind of on thin ice for me, so we will see about that. And I've got Blood and Ash. I have read the first 5 books in the series. I feel like there's no way there's 5 books, but apparently there are. And then there's a next book coming out, which I have pre-ordered. And then the Flesh and Fire series, I've read the first 3 and I have the last one, so I definitely want to read that before I continue with Blood and Ash. Those are both by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And I left some space in case I needed to add any other series here. Then down at the bottom of the page, I started adding my pre-orders, but since adding these in, I actually have 2 or 3 more pre-orders that come out later this year, so I'll put one here. It'll either be that next book in Blood and Ash, or I pre-ordered the new Stephen King book that's coming out this year, so it'll probably be one of those. But so far I have Onyx Storm pre-ordered. Then the next book I have pre-ordered is Sunrise on the Reaping, which is in the Hunger Games world. This one is going to be about Haymitch, and I'm really excited for that one to come out. I really enjoyed the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like this one as well. Then we've got Abby Jimenez with Say You'll Remember Me, and Emily Henry with Great Big Beautiful Life, both coming out in April. Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid coming out in June, as well as Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. And then we've got, I think it's Catabasis, it might be Catabasis, but this one was really recently announced. This isn't even like the actual cover for this, but it's a new book by R.F. Kuang that's coming out in August. And then, as I mentioned, I ordered that next book in the Blood and Ash series. And I also ordered a new Stephen King book that's coming out this year. And then we have our very last spread in the reading journal, which is our reading statistics page. And it's perfectly blank because I'm not sure what stats I'm gonna want to track here. But this is gonna be for my overall year-long stats. So it'll probably include things like the percentage of each format that I read books in. So what percent were ebooks, what percent were audio, what percent were physical books. It'll probably include metrics about how many books on my physical TBR I got through, as well as how much I read each month, and then my overall information and statistics. I am using Storygraph this year, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get some good statistics from there, but I'm not sure yet because it's my first time using it. But that is all for my reading journal. The last journal that I have ready to go here in the lineup is my primary bullet journal for the year. So this time I am going in with the anticipation that I will only use this for 6 months, since I only ended up being able to fit through August in my last bullet journal before needing to switch to a new one. So I intentionally set this one up just for 6 months, but honestly, this cover is so gorgeous. I'm pretty sure I got this particular journal in one of Archer and Olive subscription boxes, and I really love the like rough edges on the journal. I've got a pin in the loop because you can see I've already been using this one, but it's got these like nice pre-distressed or like raw edges on the paper, and I think it's so beautiful. It really gives a storybook vibe, which I absolutely love. But let's take a look inside. So instead of doing a name page, I just went ahead and made this my cover spread. You might get some reflection from all this foiling on the opening page in the journal. But I had a set of vintage stickers from Sticky that were all these female knights or female warriors, and I thought they were really beautiful, so I really wanted to use these for my journal. These larger sticker sheets that depicted scenes also came in there, and then I believe this pet tape was from the washi tape shop, but I may be incorrect about that because I've had it for a while. And then I recently bought some new lettering stamps, so you're gonna see a lot of me using those. I use them a ton in my reading journal, and I'm gonna be using them a ton in my bullet journal as well. So let's flip through these spreads. So I just set this up, so I haven't filled in everything, but I did set up my future log. I had a nice pad of paper from Archer and Olive. A lot of those were these nice like metallic pages, and I thought the gold complemented my overall theme really well. I really love how these borders turned out as well, and you will see a lot of that as I go through my spreads. So this will be my future log once I get some things filled in. Next, I have my word of the year spread, and again, I just am so in love with how this turned out, and I love these stickers from Sticky. I haven't settled on my word of the year, but I've got a few different C words that I've been bouncing around in my head. So I've been thinking commitment or challenge or consistency. I think right now consistency is speaking to me the most, but I haven't landed on that yet, so I'm hoping to make a decision by the end of the week so I can really have that intention set for the rest of the year. And then I'll also just make some notes about that here and probably give my personal definition and why I chose that word there. And then on the right side, I wanted to set my goals up using this cute little note card that I had. So this is actually an envelope that I glued in, and then I've got a note card here year. I haven't filled in my overall goals for the year, but I'm thinking of using this as kind of like a overall bucket list for the year. So moving away from strict goals and focusing more on things that I want to experience or want to do this year, and putting a checklist in here. So at the end of the year, I can come back and review it and see if I've achieved those things. I think that would feel really rewarding to just make a 2025 bucket list and see how much of it I can accomplish. Then I went ahead and made a content planner because, as you might have noticed, I have been posting on YouTube and I'm still pretty new at doing this, but it's one of my goals this year to really step outside of my comfort zone and continue to share the things that I'm passionate about and the hobbies that I enjoy online. So I wanted to give that a little more structure so that I can set a routine for uploading and some consistency, as well as give myself the ability to plan ahead a little bit better for the vlogs that I want to upload. In addition to that, I am also planning to make an Instagram specifically dedicated to this content, so I'll probably be putting some of that information in here as well. And this is what I was referring to when I was saying the calligraphs were really easy to use to create nice highlighted lines. They make this so convenient to do, and they're pretty easy to control as you move across the page, so I really like them for that. And then this year is the first year that I've included a vision board in my bullet journal, and I really love having this. This was a lot of fun for me to put together. So I just went on Pinterest and I made a vision board with some images of what I'm hoping to do and get out of 2025. And I printed those on sticker paper, which honestly, printing things for my bullet journal on sticker paper is absolutely life-changing as opposed to trying to cut them out and glue them in. It made the spread so much easier to set up, and the sticker paper's a little bit thinner, so it doesn't make my journal as thick when I use it. And I just made some little notes for myself in here about why I included the different images. So we'll probably take a summer beach trip, so that's why I have this, and I do have a Disney trip planned for March. I'm wanting to save some more money as well as practice my yoga every day, so I just wanted to go through and make some notes about why these things were part of my vision board, and I really like how this came together. And then here I also have a yearly stats page. So I have a yearly statistics page in my 2024 journal, and I think it might have stuck to one of the other pages, so we might not have seen it, but I set up a bunch of graphs and then I maybe filled in like 2 months in that journal. So I'm trying to decide what statistics I want to track for myself across the year, and I'll be setting these up in the next week or so here because I'll probably record monthly data, so I really have until the end of January to decide what I'm wanting to track. And then we've got my January spread. So again, I just wanted to go pretty simple because I felt like I was going pretty all in with my pet tapes. So I just used a few different stickers that I had. This was some paper from Archer and Olive from one of their kit clubs. And then I've got some little letter stickers here from Ikigai Paper. This sticker and this one are from Marigona Suli Art. And then I also just had a little booklet of stickers with a bunch of different pictures in them, and that's what these are from. So next we've got my workout tracker, and I do need to re-glue this down. I ran out of glue tape when setting this up, which was pretty disappointing, but I used another one of my Isabova stickers, which now that I have red hair, I love having these cute little workout stickers that also happen to have red hair. I love when I can put stuff in that I feel like matches me in my journal. And again, this is paper from Archer and Olive, and some stickers from Ikigai Paper and from Marigona Suli. Here I've got my sleep tracker. You can tell I'm off to a good start with keeping up with this, but not necessarily off to a good start with getting good sleep. So that's really important to me, and I'm hoping to improve that as the month goes on. And then I've got my habit spread here, and being back in an A5 journal has really made a difference in feeling like I have enough space to track the things that I want to track. And then I've got my first weeklies set up here, so just a little bit of recording. And then I haven't done much this week because I did transition into a new work journal, but I'm planning to get this updated today just with some reflection on what I've been up to and what's going on in the week ahead. And I haven't decorated these much, but I am going to add a little extra decoration here, but I just wanted you to be able to see them for reference for this week. Now, I have intentionally stopped here at the end of this week before setting anything else up because I I do want to do a little bit more memory keeping in this journal, so I am gonna try to do that, and I'm leaving spaces for myself to be able to insert pictures that I take throughout the month and things like that, so I can also use my journal a little bit more reflectively since I am intentionally only putting 6 months into this journal. But overall, that is my journal lineup for 2025, and I am so excited about it. If you like this type of content, definitely let me know. I might try to record some setups over the months as we move forward, and maybe some of my reading journal entries, because I will be putting in reviews for each of the books that I read, and I would love to continue to share my journaling with you all. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you being here. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, let me know. Say hi in the comments. I would love for you to subscribe and stick around. And if this isn't your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye!